I, female 25, and my best friend Emma, female 26, have been friends since elementary school, and I honestly thought of her as a sister. We tell each other everything, went to the same college, and even though we have two different jobs, we work in the same area. Emma was my rock for years as I battled self-hate and depression due to growing up in a small conservative town as not only a person of color, but a closeted homosexual. Emma did not know I was a homosexual, just knew that I was unhappy. Never staying long in relationships, self-isolation, and later I developed anorexia. Emma was the one who suggested we go to an out-of-state college and later suggested we move out of state too. I've gotten much better since then, and for that, I genuinely thank her. Though about 2 years ago, Emma contracted herpes from some guy she slept with, and it has been very hard for her to land a boyfriend since then, and it's made her very lonely. She hasn't told her family or friends about it because she doesn't want to be seen as gross. Due to this, I haven't really put myself in the dating field and have put off coming out. Though about 6 months ago, I met this girl at a craft store. Long curly hair, dressed in all black with big eyeliner and ruby lipstick. I couldn't stop staring at her, and I admit when she smiled at me, I kind of followed her around the store. I eventually worked up the courage to just ask her for her number, and she gave it to me. I was so excited, I started texting her that night, and since then, we have been hanging out a ton, and I think she likes me back. I was going to ask her out, but since I live with Emma, I decided I should come out since I will be bringing her around if the girl says yes. So after work, I sat her down and told her I was a homosexual. I said all the anguish I went through growing up was because of my self-hate. How I wish I could have told her earlier, but I never found the right time. But now that I was in love with someone, I felt like I should tell her that she was the one person I trusted with this information. She just stared at me shocked for a few seconds, and then her face turned from shock to disgust. She jumped back and accused me of being a deviant and how I was gross for being around her so much, knowing I was gay. Even mentioning how she's gotten changed around me and I'm no better than some creepy man. I tried explaining I had no romantic feelings for her and I honestly had a crush on someone else. She wouldn't buy it and locked herself in her room. Later, my phone started ringing off the hook, and to my surprise, it was tons of messages from my family and our friend group, either calling me Tyne, hateful slurs, or asking if it was true that I liked Emma. My mother even called to scream at me a few times, and apparently I'm disowned. I started banging on the door and told her why the hell she outed me to everyone, and she just started calling me a deviant again. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. You want to play? Fine. I had a pic of her diagnosis and sent it to her parents and our friend group. According to the only friend who didn't crap on me, people are talking more about Emma than me because she still shares stuff even though she has herpes. Now they are grossed out and are accusing her of trying to infect them with her diseases, along with some slut shaming. Now I'm looking for a new apartment, and I'm still planning to ask the girl out this week. But I was told by Emma's parents that I ruined her reputation and labeled their daughter as a dirty HE. I feel bad, but I felt like she deserved it. Though I know that a disease and sexuality are two different things, so I'm wondering if I was really wrong to do that. Edit. Since some had asked, I'll make another edit tomorrow. I'm asking her out tonight. I made reservations at this nice Thai place she's been wanting to try. Then I'm going to take her to the boardwalk and ask her out there as to not put her on the spot in front of a ton of people. See y'all then. Hope it goes well. Edit. I'm about to go pick up Ruby. A commenter has been calling my crush Ruby, and I think that's pretty cute. So that's what I'm going to be referring to her as. Anyway, for some context since it was asked. Emma is staying with a family friend who lives around here because her parents don't want us fighting. My lease is up soon, and hopefully I've locked down something by then. At least I'll be able to be alone now. Anyway, wish me luck. Now for a few important comments. Commenter, everyone sucks here, but you less than others. Emma is TA for outing you, and Emma's family are AAs for saying contracting herpes makes her a dirty hoe. You retaliated against Emma in a way that you knew would hurt her, which is perfectly understandable. but still an AH move. She blew up your life, though, and that's not fair at all. I know you'll be okay. Hearing slurs from your family and friends is terrible, and I'm sorry that happened, but they've revealed themselves as AHs. Then OP replied, honestly, it was a pretty surreal experience. I thought maybe they'd be mad, but completely disowning me. I'm happy I came out after my parents paid for my college because just wow. Honestly, I feel like I stooped down to her level by doing so. It kind of made me feel like I was deserving of the hate and that I didn't deserve to be able to come out. Though I'm going to try to push through these thoughts and have a successful relationship. Thank you so much for your kind words. Then another commenter said, not the idiot. I find it very interesting that her first reaction was disgust about you possibly being attracted to her, which is so typically ignorant. She even told your friends that you're into her. Like, how narcissistic is that? Newsflash, homosexuals aren't attracted to every woman they see, and bisexuals aren't attracted to everything. Then OP replied, honestly, that's what surprised me the most, like the fact that she assumed I was crushing on her. I have never acted in that manner towards her. I feel like a lot of the flack I'm getting from family and friends is because she spun some weird story to actually make me look like a creep. My friend, who is still talking to me, told me she said that she's describing me as some locker room peeping Tom. This doesn't help that I was an athlete in high school, so I had to be in the locker room with other women. I can only imagine what's being said about me. Now for a few comments. Commenter. Soft. Not the idiot. Basically because you did the right thing for the wrong reasons. Sure, outing someone's disease, health issues, whatever like that is generally a weenie move. And granted, I do have a soft spot for petty revenge and FAFO consequences, but she still shares stuff. Yeah, I kept trying to get her to stop sharing stuff with people, but she said she's on the medication, so it's okay. I don't care though. I keep all my cups and bowls in my room and my toothbrush. Not that I didn't trust her, but it only takes one mess up, and she wasn't taking anything seriously. What was Emma's reaction to being outed as sexually active with an STI? She called me a big old B word, among other things. She also said she was glad she had herpes because I probably would have tried to word her. Genuinely insane. She's staying at a relative's house who lives around here until our lease runs out. Commenter downvoted. Everyone sucks here. Like the above poster said, you would have eventually come out. Seriously, you would have. She just got you there faster. It was messed up, but it would have happened. Her medical diagnosis was her business. In some places, you can get in trouble for what you did. You should have picked something else if you needed a tit for tat. What other secret was I going to pick? She literally had people wanting to unalive me before I sent out that she has herpes. They still want to unalive me, but they are focusing more on her sharing things, even though she knows she has it. You're mentioning people who don't know they have it and still share. She knows she has it and is still sharing stuff. Also, I know how common herpes is. That's why I didn't give AF when she told me she had it. I just got annoyed when she had active infections and tried sharing drinks with me. That's why she went on the meds, because she had both genital and oral, and they were constant. Other than that, didn't care. Though the community I live in is super religious and judgy, so all they hear is herpes. So since they are getting violent with me, they can be disgusted with her. They aren't going to hurt her over it, but they will hurt me, which is why I will never be able to see my family or friends again. Also, there is no legal trouble I can get in my state for doing that, because I didn't tell her job. I'm pretty sure she can get into more trouble for harassing me, yelling slurs, and putting me in a potentially fatal situation. Inciting violence on a gay person kind of sounds like a hate crime, I won't lie. Saying I was going to eventually come out is screwed up. This isn't like something you just do. Like I can be hurt over coming out. I was supposed to be able to weigh the risk and benefits, but she took that away from me. Because of how dangerous it is, some people never come out and stay in the closet their whole life. Also helped reduce the negative reactions to the private information Emma revealed. OP's mom disowned OP for this. I'd say if Emma started the fire, OP can use her to reduce it. That's exactly what happened. A good chunk of people who were threatening to show up to my apartment and unalive me are now upset with Emma. Especially from what I hear, her brother and sister-in-law are the most mad because she had been kissing up on their baby like last year. She had been on the medication, no active infections, and it wasn't on the mouth, so the baby is fine. But they don't understand how herpes work. Honestly, my town's ignorance to everything is really shooting her in the foot right now. She still could have been shedding the virus and could have ended the life of the baby. Oh, damn. I thought it was just newborns. It ended the life of. The baby was 7 months at the time. The baby doesn't seem to have contracted it, luckily, but damn. Yeah, then they aren't overreacting, especially if she could have potentially ended the life of their baby. Though, to be honest, I just think they didn't want their kid to seem dirty because most of their comments consisted of them saying that she tried to spread her STDs to a child. Calmer in love? Oh, please. You're infatuated. There is nothing wrong with that, but you're not in love. You don't even know this cheek. OP. I mean, 6 months is a decent amount of time, but fair, she's just the first crush I've been able to pursue in ever so. There is no consensus bot on Am I the Idiot, but responses were somewhat mixed between sign, Not the Idiot, and Everyone Sucks Here. Now for the next day update. So as I stated in my last post, Emma is now staying with a relative in our area till our lease ends. The actual update on this is this morning. Emma's parents were at my door. They flew out because Emma is refusing to step back into our apartment. So I let them come inside because I wasn't about to hold Emma's stuff hostage. But I did something stupid. See, they didn't really want to speak to me, which was fine, but I decided to just wait in my room until they left. Me and Emma have an emergency fund that had about $5,000 in it. I put in roughly $2.7K. They took it, the entire thing. Once I noticed, I called them to give me back my money because not all of it is hers, and they told me that I earned more than Emma, and this was compensation for ruining her reputation. I was like, so it's okay that she tried to screw me over first? Their response, Emma did not choose this disease, you chose yours. I didn't even respond to that. I just hung up. Honestly, I don't even care. They didn't take anything else other than the money. I genuinely don't want to see them anymore. Emma also has been cut off from her siblings because they have kids, and she was kissing the babies without letting the parents know of her diagnosis. She also usually was not taking proper precautions during active outbreaks. So now none of her siblings want her around them because they feel betrayed. Though on a lighter note, me and Ruby are officially dating. A commenter kept referring to her as Ruby, and honestly, I think that matches. We went out to a fancy Thai spot, watched a movie, and then I took her to the water at the edge of the city. I had some stupid playlist set up. I was trying to tone it down, but I couldn't. Too excited. I told her how beautiful I thought she was, how I enjoyed spending time with her, and if she was okay with it, if I could take her out on a date sometime. I had a whole speech prepared, but one of the comments told me I should be simple to not scare her. She laughed at me. She said this was the first date. So that was a yes. I dropped her off at her house and she gave me a kiss before she left, and I'm so happy. I've never kissed a girl before. So yeah, I actually give zero craps about the money. I just want them out so I can start my new life. Anyway, that was all. Thanks a lot for the advice and support. Now for a relevant comment. Commenter, bah, I'm pissed by the fact they stole your money. Regardless, I guess this was a good ending after all. Good for you. Ope, I'll recover. I have my own separate savings, but this honestly was just rubbing salt in the wound. Am I the idiot for cutting off my TikTok-obsessed friend after she kissed my boyfriend for a challenge? One of my friends that I know, ever since we were in high school, we are both 22 now, has started to take an interest in TikTok. She already has a big Instagram following, so she decided to try something new and participated in a few challenges. Our friend group was supportive of her decision, even though the opinions on TikTok as a whole vary from person to person, from liking the app, through being indifferent, to disliking it with passion. Well, now I think my friend has crossed a line that I'm not sure I can forgive. But just like the opinions on the app are different among our friend group, Some of the girls are saying that she just participated in a challenge and I should chill out. This TikTok friend decided to kiss my boyfriend on camera as a kiss my friend and see their reaction challenge. She was always pretty close to my boyfriend, which I didn't mind since she's my friend and I trust my boyfriend to not get shady with my friends. My partner told me about what she tried to do right away. He literally sprinted out of her house and called me. He didn't know then it was for a challenge, but even when he learned about it from her, because she was calling us both to clear up the misunderstanding, he wasn't happy about that. And I don't blame him. I wasn't either. We both decided that it's better to cut her out of our lives, even if for a little while to cool down. But my friend group is saying that while they can understand my boyfriend, they can't understand my reaction, and that I should be grateful that my TikTok friend showed me how loyal my partner is to me through this experience. They have been making me out to be the bad guy for the past few days because I'm abandoning them. And breaking girls' code for a guy, I don't know. I feel like I didn't need her to test my boyfriend first of all. Second of all, as a friend, she just shouldn't throw herself at my partner. And third of all, she shouldn't throw herself at anyone that she knows has a significant other. That's just scummy in my book, but apparently I'm in the minority with my opinion. I know my boundaries, so I guess I just turned to Reddit for some kind of confirmation. Advice on what to do, not only with my TikTok friend, but also with the whole friend group. That's 6 years of history together. Part of me doesn't want to throw it away, but I'm just so disappointed and betrayed. Now for a few important comments. To echo what you've already said, she didn't do you a favor because you didn't need her to test your boyfriend's loyalty. I distance myself from any friends who try to convince you that this was at all helpful or something you should be grateful for, along with the girl who pulled this shoot to begin with. A real friend wouldn't do this to you. And it's funny how they bring up testing his loyalty while she was the one actually betraying your trust and his too. You're 1000% justified in removing this person from your life. You're not the bad guy here. She put internet clout before your friendship. Another commenter said, I didn't realize girl code allowed a girl to kiss her friend's taken man for views, likes, whatever they have on TikTok. You are in no way the bad guy. Then another commenter added, forget about girl code. Has this girl never heard of consent? I would be so angry if a friend just kissed me, whether I have a partner or not. Now for the 2-day update. First of all, I want to say that I'm really thankful for all the comments I received under my previous post. I was kind of scared of the reaction I would get from Reddit, thinking most people would agree with my friends on this matter. I guess they really got to my head a little, as the only support that I've had aside from my boyfriend. I've read through all of the comments and messages I've gotten, which helped me a lot with understanding what I need to do. Before dropping the news to my former friend group about me wanting to go no contact with them, I decided to talk with my boyfriend once again. A lot of you pointed out rightfully that my TikTok ex-friend literally attacked him. I told my partner about my decision of cutting off the TikTok friend and anyone that's defending her, and assured him that I will stand by him when he decides what he personally wants to do with her. I showed him the post I've made because I wasn't sure if he even realized that he was a victim of an intimacy attack, since my country is still stuck in this backward thinking that men can't be taken advantage of. My partner told me that he needs some time to think about the steps he would like to take against my ex-friend. But first of all, he wants to make sure that she's not going to post the video that she took of them on her TikTok. Now to the fun part. I told my former friend group that I decided to no longer keep in touch with TikTok friend and anyone that's on her side. I also added that my boyfriend doesn't consent to releasing the TikTok she has taken with him. The TikTok friend quickly responded that him not giving her consent doesn't matter, since it's a video not taken for commercial purposes. Other friends chimed in that she doesn't need your toy's consent to post a video of hers. We've started to argue, with me saying that this is illegal and them saying that nobody cares. So now, aside from updating y'all on what has happened since last time, I'm asking for a final piece of advice, I guess, not only for myself, but on my boyfriend's behalf. He already told me that if she does post the TikTok, he will deal with her, even if it means taking her to the court over it, which I completely support. But our question is, would it be very petty if we will post my original story on our social media accounts while tagging my ex-friends? We do realize that it's pretty childish, but at this point, we are thinking about taking our own little revenge on them, since consent has no importance to them apparently. Would it be worth it though? Now for a few comments. One commenter said, I would advise against it. Just keep an eye on her TikTok, and if she posts the video, go to TikTok directly and ask for it to be taken down. Then OP replied, yeah, I guess our emotions are still running high. Thank you. Another commenter added, oof, this is a tough one. First of all, props to you and your partner for being brave enough to cut them off and discuss what happened. I wouldn't personally recommend posting on social media, especially if you explicitly name them, mainly due to you and your partner considering taking legal action if they post the video. It could have ramifications on you guys. I would gather all the evidence of what happened, get a solid timeline in order, and keep supporting your partner. Good luck to you both. Also, there are lots of resources online for men who are the victims of attack if he needs assistance. Then OP replied, you're probably right about the possible repercussions. Thank you. Am I the idiot for refusing to let my wife's toxic friend back into our lives after years of drama? So way back when I first met my wife in high school, she had a friend that was not very nice to me. Let's call her Claire. Claire and her BF were pretty consistently hostile and negative towards me. Lots of negative comments and underhanded insults. The kind where if you complain, they tell you you're being too sensitive or I'm just being honest. I'm not going to go into all the things she did, but a key example would be inviting my girlfriend to girls' night out. But when my girlfriend gets there, she sees that not only did everyone else bring their BF, but my GF's ex was also invited for some reason. Claire and the ex were not friends. Schemes aimed at breaking us up were a common theme. For a while, I thought she was just scared of losing her friend. We were both pretty conflict avoidant and grew up in less than ideal families, so we just tolerated it. After high school, they still talked, but I didn't see Claire much. Fast forward a few years. My GF and I are married now, and so is Claire, to her HS boyfriend, who is also hostile to me. I go with my wife to parties at their house. I'm only invited because they know my wife won't go if her husband isn't invited. The hostility towards me is less overt now, but it's pretty clear I'm not wanted there. Mostly just being dismissive or cutting me off when I try to join the conversation. That kind of stuff. We only see them a couple times a year, so I can handle it. Although I do occasionally point out the rude things that are done to me and ask my wife to stick up for me to her friends. She makes an effort, but she really doesn't like confrontation. I try to explain that friends should not treat their friends' spouses like this, and that I would never stay friends with someone that treated her so poorly. But she doesn't have many friends and feels like she can't afford to lose one of the few she has. For the record, my wife is an awesome person. She's pretty, smart, funny, but kind of shy, so it's hard for her to make friends. Things are like this for a few years. At some point, Claire and my wife get into a huge fight over Claire's treatment of me, and it comes out that Claire hates me and yada yada yada, basically expects my wife to choose between her and me. I'm happy to say she chose me. My wife cut all contact with Claire. About 3 years go by when Claire reaches out to my wife. She apologizes and says she realizes now that she was being really unfair to both of us and she wants to make amends. It's years later and I've made a lot of personal growth. I know about boundaries now and that it's okay to say no to people. I realized how much these people contributed to self-esteem issues I am still dealing with. Just hearing their name after all this time made me uneasy. I told my wife that obviously she's free to reconnect with her friend if she likes, but I'm not interested in reconnecting with them. The hurt they caused me is not something that I'm able to forgive. And to be honest, there's really no upside for me. They weren't people I would choose to be friends with, even if they were nice to me. I made it clear that I don't want anything to do with them. So for the past 2 years, they've hung out every couple of months. I don't ask about what they do, and my wife doesn't tell me. Honestly, thinking about these people dredges up all the horrible memories and gives me anxiety. I prefer not hearing about them at all. It does hurt a little bit that my wife forgave the people that were so horrible to me. But I know I don't have the right to tell her who she can be friends with. And if I told her how I felt, she would feel pressured to end the friendship. Okay, so now we arrive at today. My wife and I have been planning a party that was going to take place at our house. Nothing serious, just an excuse for friends to get together. A few days before the party, my wife says, "Oh, I just remembered I invited Claire and her husband." Apparently, it was a Facebook invite, and she just clicked on all of her friends without thinking. She's never said it, but I'm sure she would like it if we could all be friends. I considered the possibility that this was a sneaky way to ease me back into interacting with them again. But she has never pressured me before, and that would be out of character. So, would I be the idiot if I just bailed on the party? Tell my wife I'm sorry, but I just can't be around these people. I would do all the cooking the day before and help with the setup so the party can go off as planned. She can make some kind of excuse like I had a work emergency. I can just go somewhere else until the party is over. I don't see too many other options. I can stay at the party and let these people that hurt me so much back into my life. I really don't like that option. Maybe confronting them would be therapeutic. I can ask my wife to uninvite them and she would, but I know it would hurt her and it just feels really controlling. What should I do? I don't like the idea of being chased out of my own house, but it seems like the lowest conflict option. Now for a few important comments. Commenter: you would not be the idiot at all for not wanting to be there. But I would suggest not leaving and asking your wife to uninvite them. This is your house, and they will probably get a power trip about how you aren't there. If your wife is against uninviting them, then bring up the compromise of you leaving. You have every right not to want to be around these people. I am very surprised and disappointed that your wife is still friends with this person. Your wife should be your best friend and life partner, and she shouldn't want to be with friends that treat you and make you feel so poorly. Honestly, would never talk to someone again if they were mean to my husband, even if I didn't have a lot of friends. My husband always comes first. OP replied, "That's a good point. Her goal was always to drive us apart. Leaving is letting her win, and I can always kick them out." Now for the next day update. As many suggested, I talked to my wife about it. There was more to her side of it than I realized. Claire has kids that I'll admit are not like her. Playing with the kids was the only joy I got from visiting them. She isn't exactly thrilled about Claire either, but she really bonded with the kids and doesn't want to just never see them again. She has been in their life since they were born. Many of the visits are just babysitting while Claire is out anyway. Apparently they miss me and ask why I don't come around anymore. I didn't even know they remembered me. We never talked about it because I told her I don't want to hear anything about Claire. This doesn't really feel like a betrayal anymore. I should have guessed that it comes down to communication. Yeah, the invite was not really an accident. She was hoping for a soft intro that might lead to reconciliation, or at least a more workable situation so she doesn't feel like she is sneaking away to visit the kids. She gets that doing it without asking was a crappy thing to do. We decided to leave the invitation open. Me shunning her is still letting her control me, and I would like to see the kids again. When I think about how much I have changed, I have to admit the possibility she has too. Even if she is still a jerk, she is on my turf. At the first sign of any toxic BS, she gets the boot. I have all the power now, and that feels good. In the end, my goal isn't revenge or retribution. I just want me and my wife to be happy. Lol, the people jumping straight to recommending divorce. I think you have some unreasonable expectations of relationships. I could probably make a post about us disagreeing on what end of the toothpaste to squeeze, and you would still say divorce. It's the bottom taboo. Only psychos squeeze the top.